Welcome to the Piston Fanatic. I am your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so and click on that like button. Pistons lost a tough one, 132 to 130. Trae Young, who struggled against us the first time we played him, he only had like 13 points, but tonight he had, I think, 34 points, and he hit an impossible shot with 1.6 seconds left. Beasley was right on all over him, and he just fell straight backwards. I was sure he was going to miss it. I mean, he is a phenomenal shooter, and he can make great shots, and he can shoot from the logo from way deep. And but even AUSAR said that after the game that he would live with that shot 1,000 times because it was just, you can't contest a shot much better than he did. I mean, obviously we would have rather had AUSAR not switch off on him. They set a pick, Beasley's man set a pick on AUSAR so that they would have to switch. But anyway, it was a terrible loss. They had lost 8 in a row. And, our excuse was it was our back-to-back game, our third game in 4 days. And that is hard. But, it looked like we started out the game 5 for 5 on dunks. Like the first 5 possessions, we dunked it. And then Cade got a technical free throw. So we had 11 points, hadn't missed a shot. And then things didn't go so well after that. But we got behind by 12 with 9.5 minutes left. And again, they went on this little run when Cade came out at the beginning of the fourth, and when he came back in, we went on a 7-0 run. We got right back in it, and then AUSAR was remarkable. He made so many plays. He got steals, he got assists, he got some buckets. He made his free throws. He had an impressive stat line. In only 25 minutes, he made 4 out of 6 shots, 5 out of 6 free throws. So that shows you that shot is improving. Even if that's translated to threes yet, he didn't shoot a 3, but he had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and that's a great stat line, 13 points. So it was fun watching him, and hopefully he'll just keep on gaining from there. But it was kind of a struggle. The whole game was a struggle, and we got behind by quite a bit at times. And then it was a free throw contest. They were 32 for 39 on free throws. And we were 35 for 38 on free throws. And Trae Young was 12 for 14, and Cade was 13 for 13 on free throws. So that was tough, but 1.6 seconds left. JB draws up a play. He's successfully drawn up twice these plays. And this time he drew it up for the lob. Cade threw the pass to Tobias, and I probably wasn't good enough pass. I still would never have thrown it to Tobias. I don't know if you noticed, Tobias is just not fluid. He's not coordinated. Like he's played really well lately. He played really well tonight. He had 22 points on 8 of 13 shooting. Still can't make a 3. He was 0 for 3 on threes, but he played really well. But I just wouldn't have ran it to them. AUSAR and Tobias were all out of the game. Not Tobias. AUSAR and Duren both were out of the game, and that's who you would think you would want to lob it to. But maybe he thought that's what they would think, so maybe he tried to outthink them. But yeah, we struggled from 3, so we were 9 for 27 on threes. That's not good, but 6 of 10 were Beasley's. So the rest of our team was only 3 for 17 on threes. So that really hurt us. And the Hawks were 16 of 37 on threes. So. Yeah, it was a tough loss. We wanted to really win that game. Now we got to turn around on Wednesday and play the Cavs, who are the best team in the East, and it's going to be a struggle. But we got the trade deadline coming up Thursday. It's right around the corner, so who knows what's going to happen. I know a lot of people have made this joke about how we played the Mavs. And the next day they traded Luka, and then we played the Bulls, and then the next day they traded Levine. And so after we beat them, and so I guess it might not count now because we didn't beat the Hawks because everybody was joking that the Hawks were going to trade somebody. But and we also beat the Kings, and then they fired their coach. So things happen after the Pistons play teams, I guess. But again, the deadline is at 3 p.m. on Thursday. So I am certainly hoping that the Pistons make a move. Here's something I want to talk about. I don't know if you've noticed this. Some teams just, I guess it's just who blinks, on trades. Just I mentioned a while back about how we should have been able to get more for Jeremy Grant. We got what would have been like the 25th pick. We ended up turning it into making another trade, and we ended up getting like the 13th pick, which became Jalen Duren, who had another good game tonight. And so that it worked out, but really it was a Milwaukee Bucks pick that we got for trading Jeremy Grant, and that was a late pick, but we were just lucky that we were able to trade it and turn it into something because the Knicks needed to make a move. So anyway, uh, and then the same thing with Bogey. I thought for sure if we made a trade, we traded Burks and Bogey to the Knicks, and why they couldn't give us that first round pick of ours back, and it was a protected pick, so it was going to be late. It wasn't a good pick, and so I didn't understand. But just some teams just think that they have power over other teams. Just like why did the Lakers? The Lakers, they didn't have to give up any of their good players other than Anthony Davis, and um, they didn't give up both their first round draft picks. I don't know why the Mavs didn't demand that. I just don't get it. I don't know why the Mavs didn't try to trade for Anthony Edwards. What would you do if you were Minnesota and the Mavs offered you Luka for Anthony Edwards? Would you make that trade? I mean, think of anybody. There's very few players in the whole NBA that the other team would not want to trade for Luka, even though again he has his shortcomings, and I see those shortcomings. They're very clear to me and they're frustrating to me, but he's still one of the most remarkable players in history. He's going to go down as so. Um, but the Spurs, how do the Spurs get so lucky? They get so lucky they win the lottery. Well, first they got David Robinson. They win the lottery. They get Duncan. Well, so um, they had one bad season, and then they end up getting to get Duncan because David Robinson hurt his back and missed the whole season. So they like tanked and had a terrible record, and they were able to get Duncan. And so they won the lottery that year. And so they just have won all these years. And they're smart. They're good. They make good moves. But why didn't the Kings hold out for more? They had a trade. They traded Fox. The Kings did, and that he wanted to go play for the Spurs. But still, why they didn't have to give up any of their players, their good players, their young players. I would have demanded it if I would have been the Kings. They didn't give up Devin Vassell. They should have, been able to get, or I know everybody thought for sure that they wouldn't want to trade Stephen Castle, but I would have demanded that, and they got no players, no good players, and they did get, that's wrong. They did get Levine, but they should have been able to get one of their young players, and they got these first round draft picks. One of them was the Hornets, which if the Hornets don't get into the lottery, which are assured of getting into the lottery, so that first round pick is going to turn into 2 seconds. So really they only got 2 first round picks, and one of them's the Spurs in like 27, which is a bad pick. And so it's just frustrating that teams that they can get away with that. And they have the Hawks pick. The Spurs have tons of picks. They should have gotten the Hawks pick from this year. The Kings should have demanded, but it's just like some teams just like they just refuse to make a deal, and so the other team feels like they have to make the deal. And I just hope our Pistons don't do it. I mean, I will be very frustrated if we don't get anything out of our $14 million in cap space. But I don't want us to cave in and just give up crap and get nothing in return and just cave into another team's demand because they just think that we're the Pistons. So anyway, yeah, it was. We got down in this game at the end, 9.5 minutes left. They went on a run in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and then they finally stuck Cade back in with 9.5 left, and we were down by 12. We went on a 7-0 run. We got right back in it, and made lots of great plays down the stretch. It was an exciting game. Cade made a big 3, and he made an old-fashioned 3-point play, and we just made a lot. Tobias made some good plays, but like I said, AUSAR just was doing everything out there. Sadly, AUSAR, he strips right out by half court. AUSAR strips Trae, steals it from him. Nobody's nearing within 20 feet of him. Dribbles all down by himself. He's going to dunk it, and the ball just slips out of his hands. And so, obviously, that would have been the difference in the game. But yeah, Cade had 30 points and 14 assists. He had 7 in the first quarter, which I don't know if his career high was 7. I think he might have done it once before. So, but AUSAR, like I said, he played 25 minutes, 4 for 6, 5 for 6 free throws, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. I know I already said that, but Tobias, 35 minutes, 8 for 13, 0 for 3 on threes, 6 for 7 from free throws, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 22 points. So really strong game from Tobias. Duren, 29 minutes, 8 for 10, 2 for 2 on free throws, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 big blocks, 18 points. Hardaway, 27 minutes, 2 for 7, 1 for 4. We got to get him going again, 2 for 2 on free throws. Again, he took some bad shots. When you got somebody on you so close, he's done this a couple of times where he forces up a shot that he's not open, and then the guy flies at him, and so he has to travel. He ends up coming down with it because he starts to jump off the floor. And then he took another 3 that was way deep, way out towards the sideline with somebody all over him. And if you're feeling it, you might want to try it. But when you're struggling, you might not want to try it. But yeah, Cade did not shoot great. Dyson Daniels is a great defender, one of the best in the NBA. Dyson Daniels will be first team all defense in the NBA, and he guarded Cade the whole game. And he did a good job. Cade only was 8 for 23. He did come through in the fourth. He was 1 for 6, and he had a big one in the fourth, and AUSAR passed it to him. But he was 13 for 13 from the line. So, when you get all those free throws, it does change your efficiency, even if your percentage from the field isn't that good. But he had 6 rebounds, and like I said, he had the 14 assists. He only had 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers, again, that's what he should have. He should have 3 turnovers in a game where he handles the ball as much as he does. Beasley, 24 minutes, 6 for 11, 6 for 10 on threes, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 18 points. Fontecchio played 16 minutes. Stu, 19 minutes, 4 for 6, 2 for 3 on threes, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 19 points. Not 19 points, he had 10 points. So, but he played a good game. And Sasser played only 10 minutes, 0 for 1, 2 for 2 on free throws, but he had 2 turnovers. And 2 turnovers doesn't, it's not terrible, but he played only 10 minutes, and so that does hurt you. But Holland made some big plays again. He was 16 minutes, 2 for 3, made a 3, 1 for 2 on threes, 1 for 1 on free throws, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks. But he did have 3 turnovers in only 16 minutes, so that is too many. But yeah, our Pistons shot 52%, and not our Pistons didn't. The Hawks shot 52% and 43% on threes. But Trae hit 34 points. Dyson Daniels had 19 points. Zachary Ricochet, who was the first player picked. So back in January, not this January, but the previous January, my 2 targets for the Pistons were Ricochet and Bucelis that was on the Bulls team. He looked pretty good when we played the Bulls just recently, but those were the 2 guys because they were both like 6'10", and they both could shoot, and they both were fairly athletic. And so, I just thought that's the type of player that we kind of needed. I'm very happy with Holland, and Holland probably will end up being better than those guys. And Hunter had 20. So one time Hunter came down the court. I was really glad they did this review. Hunter came down, AUSAR guards you tough, and so he frustrates people. So Hunter shoves him, and then just completely shoves him. Then AUSAR shoves him back, and they called a foul on AUSAR. But then they reviewed it, and then they got it right. They called a foul on Hunter, for taunting, and so we got to shoot a technical, and then they got to shoot their free throws for the foul on that was on AUSAR. So I'm babbling here. So I apologize for that. My mind's going a million different places, but that was a tough play. They went in for a breakaway, and Beasley goes after the ball completely. He completely goes after the ball, and tries to block it, he doesn't push him or put a hand on him, or it is a dangerous play when somebody hits you, and Beasley just can't jump that high, but he gave it everything he got, completely went for the ball, and they ended up calling a flagrant foul on him. And so that was 2 shots plus the ball, or they got 3 shots plus the ball, I think. But anyway, that was a tough call, but I'm not going to stand too long tonight. I know it was a disappointing game. We got to turn around and play the Cavs, like I said. We got the trade deadline coming up. If there's any trades, I will jump on immediately. Otherwise, I will be on after 3 o'clock on Thursday. But thank you for listening. Go Pistons.